camera a little bit further back. Let me move. He might want to come down here, so there isn't much of a path for him. He's got a very thick neck, this bull. Not a very big bull, but he's got a very thick neck. Okay, it's just almost like a warning. I'm just trying to get out of here. But it's important that as he does something like that, as he throws his head at us and blasts his air through his trunk, important to just stop and let him know that I'm not trying to intimidate him. He's smelling us surreptitiously. His trunk is down but then curled towards us, and so he's pretending not to, but he is just giving us a sniff. And me stopping the vehicle and switching off is an indicator to him that I accept the fact that I've just irritated him maybe, but I mean him no harm and I'm here in peace. And he goes back to feeding. Okay, let's try and move out of here again. Problem is I'm on a branch, a pretty big marula branch. It just came off of this marula tree behind us, and that crunched under the tires. Quite big for a turkey berry. Okay, these bulls are pretty sedentary at the moment. They're not moving very far. The big bull up in the open area is still there. He also hasn't gone very far. I would like to just make my way quickly towards Treehouse Dam and see if the herds are not there maybe. Hi Guido, again, and nice question there as well. And Guido's asking, can you tell the individuals of the elephant by their spoor? And the answer there is yes, a most definite yes, Guido. And not only from the diameter, or rather even the circumference of the spoor, the track. Okay, I'm just going to try and get through here. There's a young bull just below us and I don't want to intimidate him too much, just to get to the road. He's a bit shy. I think those are the two bulls that we saw up. The two youngsters that are here are the two youngsters that we had on towards the sandy patch this morning. They've come up to join these other bulls. In fact, I'm positive that the two young bulls that are here are those two. But yes, Guido, give me a moment or two, in fact maybe a little while, and if I find a really nice track, I'll be able to show you why it is so easy, or rather not easy, why it is possible to tell individuals just from their tracks, and not necessarily just from the size of their tracks, but also just like we have fingerprints, elephants have footprints and markings in their footprints that are very distinctive for each individual. But for the time being, I just want to go over to Treehouse Dam quickly. I want to have a look up there and see if those family groups are there. The cloud that we had this morning has burnt away. It's turned into a really beautiful afternoon. It's nice and warm, and there's a good chance if they stayed in that area, they might be at the dam. There might be at least one family group around the dam. I do want to come back here to these bulls. I'd love to spend a little bit more time with that big bull. It has got to be one of, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, just talking about it. It's just got to be one of the most humbling and the most spiritual experiences, being with an elephant like that. I mean, it's like that with all elephants, but especially a tall, magnificent bull that even the females and the youngsters are inspired by. I can never get enough of elephants. Personally, I could just, that's all I need to do, is just be with elephants all day, and eventually you get to see everything else, because the way elephants move, you'll be able to find lion and leopard and all sorts of things just following them. But I know that's not really possible, especially since we're only out for 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon. But in this small patch of bushveld that we have to cover, just as we've sort of taken advantage of the fact that we had a cheetah here for 2 days and we tried to spend as much time with her as possible, I'd like to do the same. As long as we've got all these elephants here, let's try and, here we go, there's one of the youngsters. This is probably where there's a family group. There's one just off to our right next to one of the albizias. Also be a young bull just about leaving the herd in his early teens. Maybe this evening we'll come back towards the hyena den as well. There was also a rhino on the western edge of Philemon's cut line that was there this morning. We didn't see him, we saw his fresh tracks. He might also be at the dam, so we're just going to visit Treehouse Dam and have a look. Excuse me, doves. Thank you. Squeeze me. Squeeze me, I'm a doctor. Most of the herds are west of Treehouse Dam this morning, but it doesn't mean they wouldn't go back towards the dam. Steph, hi there. Getting really nice questions this afternoon. Steph is asking about a statement that I made earlier today, this morning. This morning I said that it is up to the matriarch of a herd, of a group of elephants. It is up to her to decide when there are a number of suitors coming in to breed with the youngsters, or with the young females, not the youngsters, but with the females underneath the matriarch, which would be her daughters, no doubt, her adult daughters, teenage daughters. And Steph wants to know, has there ever been a study done that shows some consistency in the choosing of the male by these matriarchs? And yes, there has. I'm sure, I know there has been, particularly in areas like Amboseli and, well, maybe Addo to some degree, but I'm just trying to think of the organization, the Amboseli Elephant Foundation, or there's something, this is Cynthia Moss's group of elephants in Amboseli, most definitely, because every single elephant in Amboseli, in that part of Maasai land, has been documented, and every mating, every aspect of their lives pretty much has been documented. So very much so, that kind of information will be able to be gleaned from those records. Whether or not there's something to be said for a consistency in the choosing of the mate, I don't know. I would have to look at those records and maybe get some better idea. But most definitely, studies have been done on elephant over such a consistent period of time that it would be easy enough to go through those records to see who the father of the children are, and to see whether there is a pattern in the choosing of mates for the females within a breeding herd. Whether or not it's the same male, or there's a tendency to choose different males for different for an injection of different genes coming in, that remains to be seen. Okay, so we're back at Treehouse Dam. None of the elephants are here, sadly. There is a hippo. I don't know what happened to the second hippo that was here this morning. They probably had a little bit of a disagreement as to who was going to be here for the day, which is why that other hippo was still out of the water when we were here, and it was perhaps also why he didn't rush into the water when we were viewing him. This is probably more dominant bull that is here at the dam at the moment. And he's been displaying as we were arriving. Now of course he's not doing anything. I could always go for a swim and get him to be a bit more active, but I don't feel like it right now.